Peace, YouTube. This is Sean Young, also known as Supreme, with another episode of Adventures in Wholesaling. And boy, are you all in for a treat today. We're going to go into the secret sauce. Everybody's always asking about that secret sauce. What's your ninja strategy? What's your secret? Well, guys, we're going to dive all into that today. And that secret sauce is technology-based investing. So if you're interested, you want to learn how to do it the right way, stick around. Learn how to invest 21st century style. See you in a second.
Welcome, everybody. How you doing tonight? It's Benson Juarez from Privy. We got our special guest here with us tonight, Sean Young.
Hey, guys.
We're going to get started here in just another couple minutes, so feel free to kind of take care of some last-minute items. If you need to run to the bathroom or grab something to drink, go ahead and do that. We'll get started here 3 or 4 minutes, okay? Thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. See some familiar names out there. Hey, Natalie. Really excited about tonight's presentation, Sean. It's going to be fun.
Absolutely. We're going to have a fun time, guys. You guys are in for a treat.
Mm.
Definitely want to thank you guys for taking time out of your evening tonight and jumping on with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. There's a lot of other things you could be doing tonight besides learning more about real estate investing, but that says a lot about the group here tonight. We got motivated people, movers and shakers.
And like Benson said, guys, you can't think your way to success. So the fact that you guys have taken action and taken the step to be on this presentation here, that definitely says a lot about yourself. So, congratulations on taking that first step towards success, guys.
Okay, we're almost ready here. It's so weird, Sean. I was just putting this up on Facebook and I saw you talking there because it's showing like the feed that it's capturing and it's a little bit behind. I thought you were talking. I looked at you and I didn't see you talking live. So I was like, what the heck's going on here?
Technology.
Yep. Okay. Thank you guys so much for being here. Welcome. It's going to be a fun night tonight. We're going to be talking about real estate investing. We're going to be talking about data and technology. We're going to be talking about wholesaling. We've got a special guest here tonight. His name is Sean Young. He's from the Atlanta market. He is an expert wholesaler. He is a podcaster. He's a mentor and a coach, and he's doing a lot of really cool things out there. And Sean and I have been talking a lot lately about technology and wholesaling and different ways to kind of put a strategy together, a winning strategy for doing more deals. And so, Sean, thanks so much for being here, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Vincent. Thanks for having me. I'd definitely love to help out. You guys are definitely
Awesome.
in for a treat. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, for sure, man. And, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you here tonight is because I want people to have a different perspective on, what's actually going on out there. And, we almost come from two different sides of the coin, right? You in the wholesale world have had a kind of a way of doing business for a long time that was tried and true, right? That people just understood, and there's a way of doing wholesaling, right?
True
And
indeed.
I come from the side of, I'm a licensed agent, and I came up, I got, my license and did my own deals. And now I'm involved with Privy. And it's when you layer in the data and the technology, it changes a lot of things. And so those two worlds are kind of separate, right? I picture like wholesaling, putting bandit signs out, knocking on doors, cold calling, like a lot of like the throwback type things that people do. And, I know those things work, and they're not working for everybody. But like, what's your perspective now on what's going on in the wholesale world? And what are you seeing? Are the things changing? Are things evolving? What are you seeing out there?
Sure, sure. Well, what I can definitely tell you is that you're right on target. Things are definitely changing, and the fact that you kind of said, putting out bandit signs, cold calling, doing all those kind of archaic type of things. I mean, that's honestly that's kind of like what it's becoming. It's becoming like ancient technology, so to speak, because those folks who aren't utilizing things such as data to their advantage, they're just going to be behind the eight ball. And it's not like you can't do deals like Benson said. I mean, deals can definitely be done using these old methods that have been used and used and used. But in today's time and in the rapid changing of pace of our environment, you have to have something that's more than just a shot in the dark, so to speak. Like you can't just have that shotgun approach and think you can run a business, a consistent
Mhm.
business.
Right. And you and I were talking about this the other day is, there's kind of a runway that people have when they first get in this business where they have to prove it to themselves and their families and the people around them that they can really do it. And, we were thinking like 3 to 4 months is kind of where people sit. And when you do things the old fashioned way, there's a lot of spinning of the wheels, a lot of trial and error. And that's why a lot of people fail in this business. It's almost 95% of people who start in real estate investing never do a deal, right? Or fail, right? And those
Agreed.
numbers are pretty outrageous, right? And it's crazy how many people get in this business. And so what a lot of those people end up doing is getting into, really expensive coaching programs where they're paying, tens of thousands of dollars, $50,000 for something that doesn't really help them. And, I think a lot of people get in this business thinking they're going to invest in real estate, but then they realize when they're in it, like, oh no, I have to be a salesperson. I have to be a professional marketer. I have to be a private investigator because I'm going to be chasing people around and tracking them. Right.
Get
And it's
crazy.
almost like they're wearing three different hats. It's like, okay, real estate investing, uh, private
Marketer.
investigator, and marketer. Right. And so they're trying to learn all these things at once in that short time period. And I mean, is it any surprise that so many people fail?
It's no surprise at all to me. I mean, you definitely hit some nails right on the head, and I'm sure a lot of our audience can definitely resonate with what you just said. I mean, you get out here, and there's so many quote unquote gurus out here who aren't necessarily even gurus any longer, which is why they're teaching information or they're sharing information or technology that just might be outdated. It was really great at one particular time, and this is not a knock on anybody who's out there. This again, because I'm sure that these things do work. But in our market, where we've got, the ability to have the technology that Vince is going to share with you today, if you think about that, if you play a game with the cheat codes, so to speak, are you going to win that game
Mhm.
versus someone who's not?
Right.
Much quicker. Absolutely, you are. You've got the cheat codes, and that's what I liken this to.
That's a cool analogy. People have often told us that when they use Privy, they feel like they're playing a game. Like we gamify real estate investing. We make it fun again. This
Absolutely.
one guy out of Baltimore, I can't think of his name right now. He told me that it's like waking up on Christmas morning. You roll over to try to see what gifts you got. He opens up his laptop and he checks in to see what's in his inbox because you just never know what's going to show up. And so we hope that, we make it fun again because this is a stressful business, right? There's big money involved. There's a lot of money invested in the business to make it work. And again, you have to prove it to yourself and everybody around you that you can actually do it. And that can weigh down on a lot of people. So we're going to show you some different ways of doing the business tonight. And one of the things I want to make sure you realize is that This is actually perfect now for with the COVID situation going on. We're right way ahead of the curve and not really estimating that there was going to be sort of, pandemic, but thinking virtually. We've been doing this this way for many, many years. So you can work from right behind your computer. You can find deals online. You can, collaborate with your team and make sure that you're all speaking it in the same language. And you can do it all based off of what other people in your market or your target market are doing to have success. And what that is we call that market intelligence. So this is something that really wasn't even available, a couple of years ago, because really you had to learn your market by being in it, right? Like the old cats that, came up over the years, that they learned their niche. Like they can look at a house and know exactly what it's going to take to renovate it. They know what the market's doing, but it took them many, many years to get there. And again, not everybody has that time. So when we leverage data and technology, we can extract this investor activity out of what's going on in the market and create some market intelligence that can help you make better educated, data-driven decisions. And then when you layer on the actual data itself, automation, you can actually duplicate your efforts. It's almost like having a team of virtual assistants. We're going through and knocking out all of like the tedious tasks you have to do every day to find and analyze deals, because the majority of us that are doing this business, we're doing it as a side hustle, right? We haven't gotten to the place yet where we can abandon our 9 to 5 and feel comfortable putting ourselves and our families in a financial position where, it might fail. So we're doing everything, right? So you've got maybe a little bit of time during the week and maybe some hours in the weekend. But again, life is happening. We still have responsibilities. How can you still get full-time business-like results from a side hustle, right? And this is one of the ways you can do that. And then the last piece is, the third pillar to be able to have success is investing in the right partners, right? So we've all heard the horror stories of the contractor nightmares and, the educators where they didn't, help at all, or, the real estate agent that doesn't, know how to do real estate investing, or service providers. Like there's a lot of technology tools, data tools out there where people aren't getting a good ROI on that investment. So make sure you're invested in the right partners. And, part of what we do when we work with our clients is we really give you guys a guarantee that we do what we say we can do. But use that same approach no matter who you're working with, because if you get into bed with the wrong people and it goes sideways, it can cost you a lot of money. And that runway I was talking about can just shrink and disappear all overnight. So when we built Privy, we actually designed it to use in our own business. So I'm an agent here in Denver. And about 10 years ago, we were working with a lot of real estate investors. And we realized that we had a limit to the amount of people we could work with effectively and still make good amount of money. And so we looked for a technical solution that could help us automate all those tedious tasks we were doing every day to be able to find and analyze deals. And we looked around for this solution and it didn't exist. So we built it. And now what you're going to see today is the evolution of that product that we use in our business to start, that now we're operating in 20 different states. We're going to be nationwide here in a few months, starting in Q1 2021. And we got a lot of new data sets coming in. So I'm going to show you guys some of that coming in a bit. But really, we wanted to make sure that ourselves and our clients had an edge in the market. And if you leverage data and you leverage technology, you can get that edge. So what we found out is a lot of things started happening. So we figured out how you could find the hot areas to invest in. We figured out if you can test the model that you are currently using to see if it works in your market before you actually go and start to execute it. It saves you a bunch of time and effort. You understand now what to buy properties for, what to sell them for. You can understand, what other investors are doing in your market to have success. Again, several things that were just not possible many years ago. And, once I start to get in here and show you the data, you're really going to understand why this is kind of taking it to the next level. I don't want to jump into this piece too much, but when it comes down to after repair value, this is a place where you just do not want to cut corners. After repair value is the most important number, no matter what your model is, whether you're doing fix and flip, buy and hold with the Burr approach, or you're doing wholesale. If your ARV is off, and if you're using, if you're hacking that situation, using websites like the Z word or any of those other ones online, right? We all know that there's not good data, right? And so, but if you miss data, or if it's inaccurate or it's delayed and you end up making a mistake on value, that could mean that you're the one and done story, right? We've all heard of those people that have just do one deal, it goes wrong, and they never do it again. So make sure that you are really figuring out important and proven ways of doing ARV, and it's by accessing MLS. And now, a lot of investors out there have gone as far as pretending to be a real estate agent assistant or actually getting licensed, but with a tool like Privy, you no longer have to do that because we've got real-time data right in our system in the 20 markets we're currently doing it, and we're going to be in many, many, many new markets moving forward. So this slide right here, Sean, really kind of digs into the meat of our discussion over the last few weeks, which is, off market versus on market leads. Now, from your experience, like where on this off market lead section have you found the most success?
Well, for off market deals, I mean, of course, they're gonna be deals that you're finding, driving for dollars potentially. You're gonna find them by getting lists, and you're gonna pull these lists that are coming from list sources, and these are list sources that everyone else is pulling from as well. There's a number of different off market lead sources. But just to be honest with you, they can be definitely, like you're saying here, they can be expensive, they can be difficult to find, quality leads.
Right.
Like you say, you're more of a private investigator because once you get these leads, you've got to skip trace them. And if you don't know what skip tracing means, that means getting that person's contact information so that you can actually reach out to them, whether that's their email or phone number, or or both. So it's a lot of competition. So all these things I can concur with that are potential challenges when you're dealing with off market lead sources, and that's just the fact of the matter.
It is. I look at the last one, and it really kind of brings up one of the most important things of this business, which is it's all about the follow-up. So like you need a really good CRM so you're not letting these leads fall through the cracks. And investors, wholesalers, newbies are notorious for just seeing that shiny thing right in front of their face and always moving forward. But if you're not looking back at the stuff that didn't work the first time, like that, the phone call that you left a voicemail and they didn't answer, they never called you back, or that mailing campaign you sent out and you thought you got a bad ROI, but you didn't really track it, and you don't have good KPIs. And so it's all about the follow-up. It's more than 10% of all of the deals they're getting done are on the second, third, or fifth, or 10th attempt. So you have to have a way of doing this effectively. And again, when you are working off market, that's just the way it is. And if you're doing this part-time, and I hear the story all the time, they're like, oh, I got a lead. Somebody called me back during the middle of the day, but I couldn't return their call because it was at work. Right. And then you follow up after and you don't get a hold of them. So you really have to weigh your options, right? Where are you good? Where are you bad? When you first start off, again, maybe you think you're going to invest in real estate, but next thing you know, you're perfecting sales scripts, right? And you're calling people, over the phone. And, some people are really good at that. Some people have, the gift of gab, and they have, the ability to talk to people and be convincing and trustworthy and reputable and all those things that can take years to develop, honestly. And you have to learn it overnight. So the opposite side of that is on-market deals. So when we first started talking, Sean, you were like, you can't do on-market deals, right? Like, and then I had to get in the system and show you that they're there, right?
Absolutely. I had to be convinced, guys. I had to be convinced.
And you guys, honestly, it wasn't easy. Like there was several times where Sean was just like, man, I don't have time to try to learn a new method. I've already got so many things going on. And I was just really kind of persistent, right? It's all about the follow-up. And just making sure that, listen, I wanted to make sure that Sean understood that, like, I wasn't bagging on anything that he was doing, that saying that it was bad or it wouldn't work. It's like, okay, here's another tool in your toolbox. Right. And so we're going to show you some of that tonight, where if you're doing on-market deals, that
And just
you
to
want to
touch on what you
wholesale them.
said there, Benson, like you said, things are the old way can work if you put a lot of energy, effort, time, and money and follow up into it. My average deal is 7 touches before we get a deal. You might get that first one that comes through; those are slam dunks. That's every now and then, but for the most part, our average deal touch is 7 deals per close. So,
Wow.
100% true with what you're saying, and it did take some convincing because you gotta you've got to unthink you've got to unthink old ways and be willing to adopt new ways if it makes sense to you, and don't take it on face value, because that's the shiny object syndrome kind of thing, so to speak. There's a lot of folks and people out here with all kinds of shiny things, but Benson, like he did for me, he's going to do for you guys tonight, which is show me what the power of the on market deal system can hold for my organization and my team.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know what's so cool about on market is that, a lot of the negatives from the off market are pros and on. Like, the seller's motivated, exactly what they want for the property. The offer process is already established. So you don't have to, come up with your own contracts or do, some of those different things. You don't have to chase people around. You'll know within a matter of days if that deal is gone, and then you can move on with your life, right? There's no follow up, right? And if there is any follow-up, maybe like having an agent hold your offer as a backup, it isn't you that's following up. It's your team that's doing it. So many benefits here. And, one of the major objections I hear to on market is, oh, well, there's so much competition, right? And, there's competition everywhere. Just like Sean said earlier, if you were working lists and you've got a list of foreclosures and about the deal, 1,000 or more investors also know about that deal, right? And so if you send out a mailing campaign, right, and there's a stack this tall of postcards on that person's table, how are they going to know that you're the one that they should call, right? It's all a numbers game. There's always going to be competition. So you have to look for creative ways of having better systems. And believe me, I know there's people out there that are doing off market and having some great success, but it's been over years and years of trial and error and lots of money invested. I know people that are investing tens of thousands of dollars into mailing campaigns and getting zero return, right? It's crazy what people are willing to do, but they don't know anything different. So what I just did is I just ran a real quick filter here on how to find, remember what I said, market intelligence, which is based off of investor activity. So investor activity are actual deals that are being done by other investors. And what you're looking at right here is a heat map. Red's the hottest areas or the most matches, and blue has the fewest number of matches. And anything in between here isn't currently available, but will be down the road. So I'm going to zoom in one more time here, because what happens at that point is we just start to see numbers. We start to see how many actual deals are being done. So one of the things that I think a lot of investors fail at, Sean, is that they look for deals where they live or where they work, right? What's convenient to them, what's familiar. And, and a lot of it is just out of necessity because they have such little time to be able to do this business. It's like, well, I can't drive all the way across town to an area because, I only have an hour to do this thing. So I need to get back for dinner.
Absolutely.
So, it's hard. Like, so how do you see that polite? Like, I mean, is this what you've experienced when people are looking for deals? Like it's basically where they live or where they work, right?
Yeah, a lot of people that, that's what a lot of even coaches will teach out there is to, start in your backyard, start in your own backyard. And, what if your own backyard is, happens to be, Columbia, Missouri? And I'm not saying anything bad about Columbia, Missouri. It's an awesome town, I'm sure. But what if Columbia, Missouri only has, 15,000 people?
Right.
And there's nothing going on in Columbia, Missouri as far as activity is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Then doing deals in Columbia, Missouri might be tough, is the point.
Yeah, it is. And people don't know the other side of the coin, which is, and this is what we've kind of learned by having access to data, is we've reverse engineered the process of finding, analyzing deals. And instead of being lead driven and chasing people and working lists, the best strategy is to figure out where you should be investing first, right? And there's some other factors that people look at, like economic factors and population, job growth, how's the economy doing? But at the end of the day, when it comes down to this business, it's all about after repair value. So you need to be where your fix and flip comparables are located. So the way I describe this is there's a scale, right? Let's just say it's 1 from 10, and it's right in the middle here, and there's space on both sides. And if you are in an area that has high investor activity, it shifts this whole scale up to the right, which on this end is the after repair value, right? So that after repair value is pulled up. In between here is the margin that you need to be able to make profit. And when this is pushed up to the right, it pulls the offer up on the back end that you can send into the motivated seller, the on-market deal, whatever it is. You now suddenly can make offers where you're going to have a greater chance of those things getting accepted because they're more realistic, because it's based off of after repair value. And this works for on-market and off-market deals. No matter what your exit strategy is, you want to be where the comps are at. Now, if you're doing buy and hold, there's another factor there when it comes to cash flow that you have to take consideration. But when we're looking at values, you want to be where the comps are at. So like right here, Chicago's got 2,174 fix and flips, right? It's a little bit more of that with that. Indianapolis is an up and coming area. It's approaching 1,000. Nashville, Central Tennessee is really challenging right now. You're going to have a hard time proving ARV because there's not much investor activity going on right there that you can actually use as comparables. Atlanta is kind of middle of the road. There's some deals getting done here. Look at Philadelphia, 1,400 in kind of Maryland and Baltimore. But check this out. Check out Central Florida. 3,200 deals done in the Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater area. This is how you can apply a data-driven approach to how you should be developing your strategy on where to target. And, with kind of the evolution of data and technology and automation, you're no longer limited by where you're located, your geographical boundaries. If you're in a bad city like me in Colorado and Denver, you can do deals outside the state. One of our attendees tonight, our guest is Natalie Peralta. She's up in the Chicago market. She's a real estate agent, investor focused. She has so many clients from all over the US that are investing right there in Chicago because it's a great place to be doing deals. They've got good values. The prices are reasonable. They're lower. There's a lot of deal flow. There's good inventory. And this is one of the ways that you can actually start to approach your business, which is if you're in Denver like me, or if you're in Los Angeles County, you can get out of there and do deals other places. So let's look at a couple of these, okay? So we mentioned Chicago. Let's look in kind of the Tampa area. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do Chicago first. So I click this property cluster and it allows me to zoom in and see now again on the map where those hot areas are located. So again, the typical investor, maybe who lives up here in Burlington, they would drive for dollars in Burlington, right? Because that's where they're at. That's where they have the ability to do. Mm-hmm. But if you're a smart data-driven investor, you would want to be down in here in this area where the 680 is. So I'm gonna go down a couple more times, and now you can see here, this is splitting up into smaller property clusters, and these represent the deals underneath there. And what's so awesome about this is we have all the before and after data for all of these flips. So you can really start to understand what's happening on the ground in these markets. So I isolated that using our drawing tool. And now this is going to break all of these deals up into individual transactions. And you're going to be pretty surprised by the amount of deals that are getting done in just a small little area. And then we can actually look at the deals to see what they did. So look at this. You can see exactly which neighborhoods are hot, right? If you happen to be driving for dollars or you were putting up bandit signs, like this little area right here would be where you'd want to do it, right? Because if you can find a motivated seller and they call you up and they say, well, what will you give me for my property? Well, you just pull up the fix and flips that have been done in the neighborhood and here's your ARV, right? I'm looking at all of the property characteristics, but let's take a look at a couple of these. So this house is, it just was fixed and flipped. It's 8845 South Hermitage Avenue. And this report you're looking at right here is called a live comparative market analysis. You've probably heard CMA before, but most CMAs are static. It's like a spreadsheet or it's a PDF that your agent puts together. And by the way, your agents hate putting those things together and it takes a lot of time and effort, but this is all created in a fraction of a second. Now our comping algorithm goes out and it pulls comps on the subject property. It's the white dot here in the center. And these are all the comparables all around. And our algorithm uses the same approach that we do as agents or that an appraiser would use to pull comparables. But again, fraction of a second and based off of the best data, the same data that agents and appraisers use, which is direct from the MLS. And then this is live. So if the status of the property changes or the status or price changes on any of the comparables, it happens live right here. So here's all the sold, under contract, pending, and active comparables. We've also recently added rental data, which is great for those of you that are doing BRRRR or you're building a portfolio, or if you're a wholesaler and you have buyers that are building portfolios or doing BRRRR, you can give them additional data to help them figure out their numbers. And then we got the before and after. So this is one of the things that really differentiates us from other platforms out there is that you can actually see what people are buying properties for, selling them for, and comparing the before and after. So here's what the house looked like before they fixed it up. It's pretty rough, right? But there's some, redeeming qualities here. Like it's got some hardwood floors you can finish. It's got a basement you can finish out. It doesn't have a tree growing through the middle of it. Like there's cool things about this house. And then over here on the right is the after product, right? So they put wainscoting on the walls and they have a kind of like this two-tone natural color thing going. A lot of this is starting to change. I remember it was only just grays. Like this is kind of a bluish color, which is cool, but it's actually kind of fun. Like a lot of us, I know I do, I watch those HGTV shows and, the majority of those some of them are staged, the numbers aren't correct and there's actors involved, but these are real deals that are being flipped. Now talk about, what a deal is, Sean, right? They bought this house for $80,000.
Okay.
They sold it for $225,000, right? That's the ARV. So they got this thing at 35% of ARV. They didn't have to skip trace or cold call or knock on anybody's door or sit at someone's kitchen table whose house is in foreclosure and have an uncomfortable conversation about taking their house from them, right? It's just numbers. All they had to do was submit the offer on this. What do you think of this kind of deal as a wholesaler?
Amazing, definitely amazing. And guys, I hope that you are being able to grasp the power of what Benson is actually saying, because he said he went over a couple of very important factors. The first, before he showed the numbers and the pictures here, was he showed that you're actually going to get solid comparables. How many times do I hear wholesalers say, it's hard to figure out the ARV, or how do I figure out the ARV, or what do you do to get the ARV? Or they come up with bad comps and their numbers are just off based upon those bad comps. So guys, this is giving you the comps. You get to scroll down the page even further. You get to see the before and the after pictures. Again, how many times have you guys said that? Man, I wish I could see like what the pictures look like in the area. Well, that's from a whole different approach. This approach here is showing you like what the potentials are for this area here. So like he said, this guy got this for 35% of ARV. Are you guys telling me that you couldn't make money at 35% of ARV as wholesalers if you're getting properties at that? You tell me.
Right. So if you found this one, you were able to pick it up for 80, like what kind of an assignment fee would you put on here?
Well, based upon the ARVs, I'd probably start marketing that thing at I'd say right around, man, that
there's a lot of room there.
Exactly. It's a lot of room. I'd probably say right around maybe 120. Maybe
Are you serious?
I mean, you've got an ARV of 225. Square feet. Let's see. Let's see what the square footage on that is.
1,061.
76 per square foot. 213 after. Yeah, I'm saying like, yeah, you could definitely with a project like that, put 45, 50,000 in, and that whoever buys that, they're still going to make a huge profit on the back end. So why not?
Well, and even if you put it out there at 120, it's still at 53% of ARV for the fix and flipper. Exactly. Right. And I know people that are doing deals right now in 80%. Denver at 80%.
Exactly. 80%. Exactly. And they think that's a smoking deal. So when you're able to provide something like this, what you're going to do is have that buyer be happy. They're going to come back looking for more. Mm-hmm. And you're going to put yourself in a position to help your business have a business.
So that's $40,000 assignment fee on something that was on market, right? Seems
On
really
market.
unreasonable.
That's unreal, guys. I mean, how many times are you going to find those? Yeah, we call those home runs. Anytime you get like above, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 wholesale deal, those are home runs and they definitely come. But right now, guys, this tool is giving you the power to heat seek those out, so to speak.
Absolutely. And it's all based off of what other investors are doing. So it's not like you're having to go and convince this end buyer that what the value is. You just show them the fix and flips in the neighborhood,
You
right?
just send them that same, what you just sent, what you pulled up that picture, where the before and afters, that's hugely powerful for that end buyer, because they can see right there, man, look, here we go. Here are the numbers. Here's what the data says. It's a no-brainer, man. Let me get on this deal before somebody else does. That's what they're going to be thinking. They're not going to be saying, man, I'm not really sure. The numbers, you're giving them everything they need to consider.
Right.
They'll do their due diligence, but once they see that, man, this is right on, they're going to be wanting to do business with you.
Oh yeah. And that sets you apart too as a wholesaler, right? Because wholesalers are a dime a dozen. And they've built a bad reputation in a lot of circles because they're not doing things the right way. They're using bad comps and they're forcing deals to be deals because that's the only thing in their pipeline. And next thing you know, they built a reputation. But it goes the opposite way too. If you have good data and you're providing value above and beyond the average wholesaler, now you're much more impressive of a partner for a buyer than if you're doing things the old-fashioned way. And this is how you separate yourself. So the next time you send a deal out to those people, they're going to open it because they know you provide a quality product that is well, set up, is based off of good data.
And I know some folks, I want to just touch on one quick thing here really quickly. I know some folks are watching and they're probably saying, wow, Chicago, I thought Illinois, they changed the law that you can't do wholesaling and stuff out there. Using this method, Benson, can you kind of explain how just very quickly how that works using this method?
Absolutely. So
and why that's non-factor, really?
Yeah, there's many different ways to do wholesaling. Basically transferring the property to the end buyer, and the typical way is by using an assignment clause, and that's just writing the offer and it says and or assigns, or in the additional provisions you've got some clauses that say that you have the right to assign that property to somebody else, and that's kind of the convention, right? That's a conventional way of doing it. What a lot of wholesalers do is they don't use assignment clauses. They write the offer in the name of an LLC. So once you're under contract, you're in the name of an LLC and the listing agent sees it and it looks like any other buyer, right? And then once you're under contract, you market that deal the same as you would any other deal, except the only difference is the logistical transferring of control, which isn't done through an assignment. It's actually done by transferring control of the entity, the LLC. So, but typically you would do that with the operation clause in the LLC itself, and you can transfer control and still get the fee, right? It's just not an assignment fee. You're basically almost selling the company, right? And so in Chicago, and again, we're not lawyers. I'm not a lawyer.
Indeed.
Do your own research.
Absolutely.
You can sell companies, but they want to control assignment clauses. They want to make sure that wholesalers aren't assigning a bunch of property. So look into that. I know people in Chicago that are doing it. It works, but it works in any other market. And there's a bunch of advantages to that. And we talk about that in our trainings that we do weekly.
Absolutely. Just wanted to make sure we touched on that. Thanks, Benson. I'm sure
you got it.
Definitely appreciate that.
Yeah. So, you guys are probably thinking, well, great. Now we're doing all this research. How is this really going to help me? Well, it gets you an edge, right? You're basing your stuff off of real data and you've got the comps available, but how about deals, right? So let's flip the switch on this. And I'm going to change the filter over from sold to active so that we can actually find deals that we can write offers on today. So I just click the filter here. I uncheck sold, click active. Let's lower this a bit. This right here is the ceiling. It doesn't mean we're looking for stuff at 60. It means we're looking for stuff that's up to 60%. Remember, the closer you are to zero, the better the deal is. And I'm going to say that anything came on the market in the past week. And then I'm going to sort by days on market, which is going to show me the newest listings first. All right. So right now, Privy's going out and it's pulling comps on every single property in this area. And it's only showing us the homes that match our specific deal criteria. So again, we're not telling you what a deal is. You're telling the system what a deal is for you. And then you set it up, and then you can save this search, and it will actually monitor this area and email you every time it finds a deal that matches your criteria. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of these. This property just came on the market today, right? That's timely. It's 7133 South Indiana Avenue. It's for sale for 88 grand. Here's the property. It obviously needs a lot of work, right? That's good. You want to see that. And we flag this property as a deal because there's a house right down the street that was just fixed and flipped and sold for $165,000. So when we're talking about numbers again, 88,000 divided by 165,000, that's at 53% of ARV at asking price. Now, this isn't as much of a home run as that one that we showed you earlier, but you don't have to make $40,000 on a deal for it to be worth your time, right? Exactly. You could maybe put $5 grand on this and it's still an amazing deal for you. That's 7133 South Indiana. This is one actually that I sent out as part of the invitation for tonight. This one is listed for 80,000. It's 7231 South Winchester. And our system flagged this as a deal, again, because it's in an area that has all these fix and flips. Look at all the before and after data, right? What better way to prove ARV than to show the house right down the street that was just flipped, right? It's kind of a no-brainer, but so many people are trying to force properties that are too far away or that aren't similar enough to be comps. But if you reverse engineer the process using Privy, look how simple it is. This is $221,000. You can buy this for $80,000, right? So let's take a look at that. Again, similar numbers, $80,000 divided by 221. This is at 36% of ARV, right? So a lot of the pushback I get from this approach is that there's not enough margins there. If it's on the MLS, then that means it can't be a deal, and that's the approach of somebody who is lead driven. If you think about ARV and you think about what people are listing these things for, and people also use the word retail. Like, I don't want to pay retail. It's okay to pay retail if you're paying for what the house is worth in its current condition. It's what's in the current condition compared to what the after repair value is. This is why you're talking about percentages of ARV. So pay retail all day, every day, if you can get it at 36% of ARV or somewhere around that. And that's exactly what this deal is.
And then there's a property right around the corner that's selling for $2 something that you can, prove. I mean, not just one, but there's multiple properties that are selling, but you've got one right around the corner right there, So that
it's right on the same street. It's basically the same house. And now you have an exact roadmap that you can show if you're doing these deals yourself, you know exactly what kind of construction to use, what kind of materials to use. If you're marketing this as a wholesale deal, this is what you're sending out with your marketing. I mean, you would sell this within hours of sending it out. Like, you would have no problem.
This is powerful stuff.
And then you look at the before and after, you can see, again, you send this out as part of your marketing. Here's where it started. Here's what's after. They got this on market for $49,000, right? Again, this is even a better deal than the one we're looking at, but this one is still a fantastic deal, right? So it's 7231 South Winchester. So this is just the Chicago market, right? So I don't want to spend a bunch of time here. Let's jump into Atlanta. All right, we'll go to your home, Sean.
My neck of the woods.
So I'm not going to do the whole approach, but I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick search.
Sure.
Fix and flip, ARV. Let's just say we're at 70% or better. Active. Let's say we don't want to go higher than, say, 200,000. We'll make it real quick, right? So this is how simple it can be, you guys. It is not like you have to go in and just be an expert on how to use this stuff. It becomes really intuitive, and I'm doing it kind of fast, but let's take a look at some of these. This one is for sale for 135 grand, came on the market yesterday. Now, if you had your searches set up, this would be sent to you automatically. So you don't have to be in the system all day. If you have your 9 to 5, you're just checking your email. So you get this one for 135, and the closest sold comparable went for 215. This one right down the way just sold for 289. They got it for 115. So just slightly less expensive than what you can get it for here. And then again, running some basic numbers, 135. Oop, that's a little bit too much. Divided by 289, 46%. This would be something you definitely want to take a look at.
So Benson, what if they say, hey, you know, I do want to take a look at that. How would I reach that person?
Yeah, that's a great question. So remember I talked about working with an agent, duplicating yourself and having a team. You're going to want to find an investor-focused agent that's working in the markets that you're working in, and you're going to build a relationship with them. You're going to let them know what your business model is and what your approach is. And then you basically want to let them know that you're not going to waste their time, right? This is why, again, a lot of wholesalers get bad raps because they go and they ask agents to pull a bunch of comps for them. And then they send out a bunch of shotgun lowball offers because they're not looking in high investor activity areas. And now that relationship's shot. But if you approach it for the right way and you use this approach, you're going to be able to build a relationship with that. All you got to do is just click share. Our system creates an email template. You put the address or the email address of your agent. You send it over. You tell them what the price is, the terms. They submit the offer for you. And then after that, you're just waiting to hear back. It's that simple, Sean.
Guys, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It doesn't get easier than that, guys.
Here, look at this little house. It's like a bungalow style. Looks like it's in decent condition. It's 180. It's got nice hardwood floors, but it's all original, right? This is the original cabinets, Formica countertops. The bathrooms are probably pink. No, they did. They put a new vanity in there and they painted. But what we look at here is at the comps, right? So the blue dots, these are all the ones that support that this is a deal. The closest sold comp just went for $354,000. You can get this one for $180,000. This is an amazing deal too, you guys. This is it. Sean, you should write an offer on this one tomorrow, by the way. Exactly. 2719 Joyce. Anybody here that wants to do deals in Atlanta? Allison, we are actually in California, and we're in the entire greater Los Angeles area. If you want, Allison, I can show you that offline. I don't have enough time for that. So that's that. Let's jump into one more, and then we're going to start to close this out so you guys can get on with your evenings. This is how fast we can do this. 70, past week, days on market, filter. Boom. It's running comps on everything in the market. It's only showing us the ones that look good. And here's all the properties that match our deal criteria over here. Let's add actually one more thing here. Let's put a price ceiling. Bunch of stuff here. This one's at 129, right? The house needs work. Cash only. It's like fixer upper, like a lot of the things that you might find using keyword searches, which a lot of people are big on that. This one came right across. Closest comparable, fix and flip, 229, 224, 200. And then once you find your magic formula, you guys, you just save it and the system does all the work for you. And by the way, we train people on how to do this too. And I'm going to show you here in a second on giving you a chance to get access to Privy, that I will actually help you set up and save all your searches. So pretty amazing stuff, right, Sean? I mean, that's
absolutely.
I mean, can you think about like, what would your career have been like, when you first started, if you had approached it this way? Would it have changed some things for you?
It changed a lot of things. It would have made things a lot easier for me. I might have a little more hair on my head. Who knows? I mean, who knows?
Oh, if we just only had a time machine. But basically, you guys, we designed this to help us optimize our time, right? Automation, leveraging data. The algorithms are doing all the heavy lifting for you. Like I said, it's having a team of virtual assistants do all of the work, but it all happens behind the scenes, while you're doing and living the rest of your life. So we get rid of all the stuff that doesn't matter, right? And just think about if there were 100 new properties that came on the market tomorrow. And agents do this. A lot of people do. They go in and they run comps on all these things, and they spend the majority of their time running comps on properties that aren't deals. So what if you could eliminate all of those properties that weren't deals right off the bat? And then it's just sent you the properties that are the ones that are the gems, the ones that could be deals for you if you only just took a closer look at them. So who is Privy for? Well, it's for fix and flippers. It's for buy and hold investors. It's for the people that are doing BRRRR, and yes, wholesalers too. If you use this approach, you're going to be able to wholesale a lot of deals, and you're going to have a better ROI, right? Because you're not going to have to throw a bunch of money in marketing. And if you're good at the marketing and you love doing it, continue to do it. But if you want another tool in your toolbox and you don't want to be a professional salesperson or marketer, this is something that could definitely help you. This is Anthony. He's actually up in the Chicago market, and he's wholesaled a bunch of on-market deals. He said he closed 6 deals from stuff that just showed up in his inbox, and he made between $3,000 and $15,000 assignments on all of those things just from Privy. And he was kind of old school too, Sean. Like he was doing stuff the old-fashioned way, and he was just using Privy for comping. That's how he originally got in, because he just wanted to run comps.
95% of folks out here are.
Yeah.
So don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed to admit it. This is the way that most folks are doing it. That's just how it is.
Yeah. There's no reason to be ashamed of it. It's just, and that's why you guys are here, right? You're always looking for better ways of doing business. This is a Johnny. He actually found his very first fix and flip on Privy, and he didn't even wholesale. He went right into fix and flip, and he found a deal within the very first week of him signing up, and he made money, right? Pretty amazing. So Privy, it's a subscription model, right? And so it's $97 a month if you go month to month. And, there's no contracts or anything like that. We're not educators. We're not going to try to upsell you into some, program or anything like that. But $1,164 over 12 months, right? So I'm going to give you guys some discounts, but I also wrapped in here some education. So one of the things is I put together, I went out and I interviewed, and I need to get you in this list, Sean. But I interviewed a bunch of real estate investors, from wholesalers to buy and hold investors, people who are buying apartment buildings, to people who are just really just killing it and doing everything. And I asked them all their tips and tricks, and what pitfalls to avoid. And I wrap this up in a nice little bow in a pack of interviews that is so valuable, you guys. I talk about learning from other people. This is one of the best ways to do it. The next piece is, I don't just sell you a piece of software and then disappear, right? I'm really tight with our community. I spend time every day, every week, educating and teaching people how to use Privy. It doesn't help me one bit if I get you a subscription to Privy and you don't use it, or you don't have any success. So I put a lot of effort into that. And so I created the VIP onboarding and 360-degree support package, which basically gets you me, right? I'm going to dedicate an hour of my time to helping you set up and save all your searches in Privy, answer any questions that you have. We'll do the analysis like when I first started off the program the night, where we're going to find the hot areas. And we're going to try to overlap that with where you're located and where you want to do deals. And then, help you come up with a winning strategy on how to target those areas and get deals done. You're also going to be able to come to our live group training sessions. We have 2 per week. And we've got live phone support, you guys. We're not like the typical technology company where they force you into email and chat support. You can actually call and talk to somebody, either me or somebody on the staff. So this is a huge value. We're going to be here to help you every step of the way. And a lot of people are scared about technology, Sean. Like they hear like, oh, I don't know if I can learn another software program. Like I can barely operate my phone, let alone, some algorithm powered program.
Exactly.
The next one is the master membership. So as I mentioned, we're currently in 20 different markets, but we're going to be nationwide soon. So when you first sign up for Privy, you actually have to choose your market. But with the program tonight, I'm giving you with this bonus pack, we're going to give you all of our current markets and all of our future markets for free, no additional charge. For those of you that are doing fix and flips or have aspirations of doing fix and flips, if you haven't done one yet, the time to learn that isn't once you get a deal under contract. Like now is the time to learn that renovation process. And Ryan Garcilazo of the Rehab Depot put together this really good handbook on how to manage this process. It teaches you how to work with general contractors, how to build a construction budget, how to plan the project out. Really good. There's tons of value in here. I give you guys this for free. All right, so let's just kind of summarize this here. And by the way, you guys, Sean's got something really cool for you guys. Those of you that stayed, and we got a really good sized group here. So I'm gonna give you the expert interviews, the VIP onboarding and support, the master membership, the 150 page guidebook. It's a huge amount of value. It's over $3,000 worth of value. And you saw some of the deals that we were talking about tonight, like that one that Sean said you put $40,000 on top of, right? Like it's crazy. This is an investment into your company. This is an investment where if we can find you one deal for an investment in your business for $720. So if you comparing that apples to apples, it's like paying $60 a month, but there's only one fee for the year. There's no ongoing monthly cost, and that we back our product, 30-day money back guarantee. Now, I did come up with a couple extra bonuses for you guys. So one of our new partners is Better Capital, and Better Capital developed a really amazing software program that helps you track your investment portfolio. So if you're a little bit further ahead or you're starting to get some momentum, you need to track this stuff. So you're making sure that you've got a good ROI. Where are the costs involved in your portfolio that are maybe pulling down your cap rates? There's free education. They give you access to their vetted network, and they have an accountability funnel that's pretty amazing. So we're going to give you free access to Better Capital, and you can use it to track all of your deals that you're doing. The last thing is for those wholesalers out there that are looking to do deals. Well, I've been building a buyers list for the last close to 8 years. It's got over 5,000 people on it, and we broke it out in the state, and we have emails, phone numbers, names. We also have a place there where they got to describe exactly what kind of property they're looking for and in what areas. So this is a huge value. This alone is worth a couple $1,000s. I gotta believe, Sean, like
Absolutely.
just the trials and tribulations of building that buyers list. Like, what do people go through to build this thing?
People go through a lot, and a lot of wholesale coaches or coaches out there also teach that, build your buyers list first. So, I mean, guys, this leaves no excuses for you. You got 5,000 nationwide buyers that are giving you exactly what the criteria is. You find what they're looking for. It's like having someone order a ham sandwich and you make a ham sandwich. It's a lot easier to sell them what they've asked for versus you making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich trying to give them a ham sandwich, and they want a ham sandwich.
That's a great analogy. Now I'm hungry. Thanks for that, Sean. I'm starving. Well, and I know not everybody has $720 in their budget, but look for ways to make that happen. This isn't not just another CRM or some tool that's going to help you organize your stuff. This is literally a product that can find you a deal tomorrow. It can make you tens of thousands of dollars, right? And I don't want to overplay it too much, but you saw the data. Like, those deals are there, and it just takes one, right? It only takes one. So if you can't make the 720 work and you have to kind of budget smaller than that, that's okay. Get started. $97 a month, but I'm still going to give you some bonuses, right? You can't get this from our website. So I'm going to give you the rehab guidebook. I'm also going to give you the deal analysis calculators and the Better Capital free access to that platform. So huge amount of value there. 30-day money back guarantee on all of our plans. So it's with promo code Privy 2020. And Sean, I know you put together a pretty cool kind of giveaway here. Tell us what you put together for them.
Sure, guys. For everyone who has stayed, to the end, or who attended our training tonight or our presentation, I'm going to be giving you guys a free download to an agreement. So this is the standard purchase and sell agreement that you guys can utilize to get your contracts, to get your houses under contract. Some people call it the A and B, but it is a tried and true agreement, been used to close over 100 deals. And but I would say to make sure that you do, when you do get it, just run it by your local attorney just to make sure that it's good for your state. But guys, I'm giving that to you for absolutely free, when I know some folks out there selling that for $100, $200. So it's of great value for you as well.
Yeah, I just put that link in the chat there. And it is actually a great little thing. Well, not a little thing. It's a great thing that people often use. You talked about excuses, right? Like, oh, I can't get started because I don't have my buyer's list. Well, I can't get started because I don't have my contract. Well, we just solved 2 of those problems for them. So I put it right here in the chat, you guys, and that is an amazing thing to help people get started. I appreciate that, Sean.
Absolutely.
So the other thing here is that we have another person here. I want to see if I can get you in here, Natalie. So I talked to you about Natalie Peralta earlier, who's up in the Chicago market, and Natalie is one of the greatest investor focused agents that's out there. And Natalie, I want you to jump on real quick and talk about some of the things that you're working on up there. And I know you had some other properties. Did it set you up there? Let's see. Make co-host. And while you're jumping on, Natalie, I'm going to start to put the stuff in here for you guys to get started. So I'm first going to put my contact information here so you can reach out to me over the next couple of days and ask me any questions. This deal is available for the next 48 hours, and it's promo code Privy 2020. And I'm also going to put in the links to get started. So the top link here that's in the chat is the link to jump in and actually get signed up. And I'm recording this too, by the way, you guys, so you can actually send this out. I'm going to send it out to you tomorrow with all the links and the replay. And so if you have, somebody else on your team, or you have a significant other that you want to get involved, they can watch that. And then you can reach out to me with any questions. Let's see here. Natalie, I made you a panelist. Are you able to jump in? I'm not sure what's happening there. So we're going to open it up to some questions now. And I want to see if you guys have any questions. So Sean, let's see here. We got some question here. So write the contract in the LLC name and not as an individual. Yeah, Nigel. So that goes back a bit further. Yes, absolutely. You want to, if you would put it into an LLC, then you can operate as an LLC. And if you are the sole member of the LLC, you can transfer control of it. You can bring in a new member, and that's how you're able to transfer that thing. Carolyn, where are you getting the sales price? Those are the prices that are listed on the MLS. Let's see here. So Nigel said, hey, Sean, I'm purchasing Privy tomorrow. Do you mind hooking up? I need more tips on LLC strategy.
Sure, no problem at all. Absolutely. You can definitely, when you reach out to me, when you take advantage of getting that free download, it's going to ask you for your email. Once you get that, you can definitely, you know what, guys, for everyone's on this line, I'm going to give you a tip. You can email me directly at adventuresinwholesaling@gmail.com.
I love it.
Oh, there you are.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I finally made it. Looks like I got a twin.
You got a twin there.
My twin is on there. It's funny. This happened to me yesterday too. And I was like, yeah, don't mind her.
Cool. Are you able to share your camera there?
It says you can't start your video because the host has stopped it. So you might need to let me on.
Okay. Got you there. So I hope you guys stick around for a little bit. Natalie is a wealth of knowledge. For those of you that have to get going, because we're up against the hour here, we're going to send the stuff out. But Natalie, there, you should be able to share your camera now.
Oh, hi.
There we are. Hey.
Hello. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Hey. I really liked what you guys were showing, and I'm super excited to dig into that contract and see if it works in Illinois. Or in Atlanta. It looks like you guys got some good stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sean, Natalie's been chomping at the bit about getting started in wholesaling, even though she's like an amazing agent. See, she's already thinking about all the tools in her toolbox. So I got to connect you two to talk.
Absolutely.
Definitely. That would be super dope. So I appreciate you guys for taking your time to do this tonight. We had a good amount of people that had been hitting me up asking for tools and what we're doing. And obviously, most of our investors, they're repeat buyers. So they're always looking for software. So that software that you just mentioned is really cool. We'll definitely be talking about that in our group. I could already get the messages coming from that.
The Better Capital?
Bettercapital.us.
Oh, yeah.
That's really dope. Very, very dope. So
Awesome.
yeah, obviously the Chicago market, Sean, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Chicago market, but the Chicago market is really, really intense right now. Deals, it's like multiple deals. I think I said earlier, like the 1848 gold rush in California. Like,
Wow,
everybody's
that is
like,
awesome.
oh, I got it.
I haven't heard that. So that's great news. I haven't heard that.
It's great, but it's also competitive. And, it's COVID time. So we're all like ready to just have normal lending guidelines and, ready for all that to open up. But then, of course, our cash buyers are making a killing right now. So, and wholesalers too. Wholesalers are cleaning up house.
Indeed. I'm gonna have to look into that market now that I've tapped into the Privy here, and I've got your resources as well in that market.
Yeah,
let's make some
I
money
have a
together.
couple off-market ones that are coming up, so we'll definitely be in touch.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Super, super cool.
Yeah, we had a question from Andres. He asked about, so there's when you're doing the registration for Privy, there's a step in the process where it asks you to select an agent. And so what you want to do is this is a directive from the MLS. So you don't have to work with anybody specific by using Privy, but we do need to show you some of the agents that are in the market. So that way, if you want to submit offers, you have somebody you can call.
So smart.
Yeah. So that's just that, Andre. So depending upon what market you sign up for, it will show different agents. And again, it's just an introduction, but that's part of the registration process we had to put in there for you. But it's still a good thing, right? It means that, there's people there that are investor focused, that they know how to use Privy. They're Privy users. So they'll get what you're doing, right? So it's definitely worth it. Let's see. So what else, Natalie? Was there anything else?
Yeah.
How are the deal flow going? I know we found some deals for you last time we did a call. Some closings.
So yeah, we have 3 closings lined up for this next week.
Cool.
Well, actually, no, 4. I'm counting right. And then 2 more just went under contract today off of the Privy list that I get every morning. It is like Christmas because those are already basically analyzed, and that takes half of the work out for me because, of course, I look at, the finishes, how much does my client have to renovate the property, and what is the rental comps in that area if it's a multi-unit. So I'm running a little bit more information, but like overall, knowing that it's in the area of, repeat buying and selling, for me, it just cuts half my work. Oh, yeah. And I send that Privy link to the lenders to basically pre-qualify the building and say, hey, just so you know, I'm running comps on this and we're going to submit an offer, let me know if any red flags come up. And it's really been smooth across the board to help keep things moving. Just getting everybody on the same page.
Great stuff. Great tip.
Wow. That's awesome. So yeah, anybody who's interested in the Chicago market, Natalie is available. What's your email, Natalie?
NatalieInRealEstate@gmail.com.
Okay.
I told my twin to go make dinner.
I need a twin too. Awesome. Well, any other questions? Oh, actually, here's Travis asked, can you get funded by out-of-state bank lenders? What's the best lender for out-of-state buyers other than hard money? There's a lot of lenders, Travis, that are nationwide, that they do business in almost all states. Nevada's a tricky one, and sometimes California is, but most of the national, thanks, Sean. Most of the national lenders will do these. So, a company you might consider calling is RCN Capital. I know that the team over there, they're really good at what they do. RCN Capital is one you can talk to, and there's a bunch of others.
Direct Capital in California has been really good to me lately. They've been moving stuff along. I know a couple local people here that I work with. I try to work with local banks if the deal is local. But, state by state, I always try to work with who's there.
Yeah. So Travis, do you know Travis Patton, Natalie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he's asking for an Illinois lender. So you might
I can definitely reach out to him. We've been meaning to connect. So I'll make sure to reach out to you, Travis.
All right. So Ellison, you were asking about Orange County. If you want, go ahead and block some time out on my calendar. When I put my contact information in here, you guys, there's a link to my calendar, and that we can actually schedule a demo. And so I can walk you through how it can work for you and with your specific business model in your specific market. All right, cool. Any other questions?
I wanted to, I know you have off-market listings, but when you look at Privy and use the software for off-market listings, it still shows the comparables. That was the other thing someone had asked me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have pocket listings right now. I've got like 5 of them, and I'm kind of playing around to see what is it like listing or not listing, because if I list, then I have to do all the showings, and it might be easier if I'm just the agent, helping out both sides. So I'm trying to figure that out, but I typed in 9111 South Harper, and I was able to see properties that look just like it and comparables. Yep. It was so awesome.
Yeah, it's a big time saver for sure. I mean,
it's a huge time saver.
I mean, just think too, you're an agent, you've got MLS. Think about the average investor who's trying to figure out what value is. So right here, you guys, where it says quick search, you just click the quick search button, you enter the address of the property you want to pull comps on. It doesn't matter if it's on market, off market. It'll use real-time sold comparables directly from MLS to comp the property out, and so you can quickly determine the ARV. This is a really cool thing.
Yep.
Good point.
Super, super helpful.
Awesome. Well, you guys, thank you so much. Sean, Natalie, thanks for being here. I appreciate your support, Natalie and Sean, and helping to get some people here. And Sean, thanks for being on the presentation with us and giving your expert insight into foreclosures, wholesaling, and kind of just showing that dichotomy between the old-fashioned way that everyone's been doing things and kind of the new ways that are coming up and leveraging data and technology and really bringing your business into the 21st century where you can have success. Like, we all need an edge, and we all need a way to create automation, and we all need a way to create more efficiencies with our time. And this is what we designed it for. And so it's available for anybody out there. And by the way, if you're located in a market we're not currently doing business in, that's okay, right? We're going to be in your market eventually, but don't let that stop you from getting started, because I showed you all these other markets that are ripe for the picking, and you can do virtual wholesaling. You can do remote investing, long distance, flips, or building a portfolio in other markets. You don't have to be restricted by where you live any longer, right? The whole country is ripe for the picking. And one of the easiest ways to kind of demonstrate that is we've got users in Canada. We've got users in the Middle East, Israel and Tel Aviv, Cyprus, little island in the Mediterranean, India. Like, people are doing this stuff here in the US, and they may never step foot here, right? That's what's possible.
Exactly.
Well,
that's
awesome.
The power of data.
That's so dope. No, I definitely, the last but not least little tidbit I want to drop in is that this software, any investor that I've given it to or that is using it actively, it separates them from the, casual investor to the serious active investor who's putting contracts down. So I want to really encourage anyone who is on this call, if you are looking to utilize a tool that really gives you actual data that you can understand and learn from, this is the tool. Out of all the tools I've tried, and I definitely am someone who is a sampler that tries to figure out what is best for my clients. I want them to be successful, because then it helps me help them find what they're looking for quicker. So across the board, I can't say enough good things. I'm so grateful you guys got the multi-units going, and then you've got great guest speakers like Sean coming in to talk about wholesaling. So I'm super pumped. I'm so thankful for you guys. So thanks again for taking your time.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll be sending out a list of some properties. I know we kind of got behind on time. I picked out some top 5 that I'd like to send out to my investors. So if you guys need anything, and Sean, I'll be sending you some pocket listings too.
Let's do it. Let's make some money.
Right? Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for being here who joined us. That wasn't part of the panel tonight, but if you got questions, reach out to me. I put my contact information in the chat, and keep an eye out for an email tomorrow morning from me with the replay and also all the links and everything else, kind of the deal benefits and all the details. So Everybody have a fantastic night. Thank you so much. And we'll be talking soon. Take care.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
You take care.
Have a great night.
You as well.
With this crown on my head, I'm seated on the throne. The top is so alone. Only thing that keeps me going is I know my city love me. I know my city love me. I know my city love me. I know my city love me.